Hi everyone, welcome back to the Property Finance Podcast. And today I want to talk about a question that comes up a lot, and it seems to come out the back of a lot of property education courses and sort of these 2-3 day weekend courses. And that's where people talk about, do you need to find the money first or do you need to find the deal first? And it's a question that I love and hate because you can sort of come at it from both ways and end up with completely different answers sort of every time you approach it. But for me, the way I look at it is I think you always need to have the deal first and then look for the finance. And the reason why I've sort of come to that conclusion is if you don't have a deal, you're approaching, and let's say you don't have family who can invest in you. Let's say you're going to professional investors and you're going to them without a deal and you're saying, well, this is what we want to do. This is what we're hoping to achieve. These are the sort of deals we want to look at. It becomes quite difficult to bring them on board, to persuade them, because a lot of investors, and I speak very generically, but a lot of investors want to see what it is that they're actually investing in. And I think for a lot of them to be able to see that deal in front of them, they want to make quick decisions because the other thing with investors is a lot of them are quite fickle. So if they have £100,000 sat in the bank account and you're sitting in front of them saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, and then they have someone else sitting in front of them going, here's a deal that you can invest in right now, why would they invest in you as opposed to this person? Because with you, they have to wait for you to find a deal, whereas there's a ready-made investment opportunity here. So looking at it from that perspective, I would say that's why you would always want to find the deal first. Now, on the flip side, why you would probably want to find the money first and then the deals is because inevitably, if you don't have the money and you don't have the money sort of sat there ready to go, you run the risk that you go and agree a property deal, you get an offer accepted, etc. The agent is sitting there saying, right, where's your proof of funds? And all of a sudden you can't provide that proof of funds. Or they may, let's say for whatever reason, you can provide proof of funds, but you don't actually have the money sat there. Are you then going to have delays and upset the agent? So you do run the risk of upsetting the estate agent if you don't have the money readily available. So it's sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place. I would say if it's a case of finding the money first and then the deal, I think that works in scenarios where you've got family and friends. So people who are willing to invest in you based on trust and knowing you as opposed to having an actual live opportunity. Where I think you need the deal first and then the money is sort of situations where it's professional investors and sort of your mainstream lenders. Because the other thing as well is that, for example, if you are going for a resi house or something that you're going to live in, what you would tend to do is you would go and see a mortgage broker and they would say, right, okay, based on your circumstances, based on your income, you can borrow this amount of money. And you would then get an AIP for however much money, and you would then be able to go out and look at houses within that price bracket and say, right, okay, well, we can offer on that based on the fact that we have this agreement in principle. When it comes to bridging finance, development finance, commercial mortgages, buy-to-lets, etc., you can't get an agreement in principle until you've got a deal. So in order to actually get that proof of funds, you need to have a deal in place as is, because they need things like the address, the purchase price, build costs, GDVs, etc. So you actually have to have that deal there, ready, secured, and then go for the finance. Now, I suppose a happy medium of what you could do, and this is, I was speaking to someone earlier about this today, what you could do is you could have a situation whereby you go and view a property, you then come to us, we then look over the deal, help you structure it, help you put it together, help formulate an offer. Because you've already been to view it or even identified it, you're going to have things like the addresses, purchase prices, you're probably going to have some of the approximate figures. So you would then have enough to go and get an AIP from a bridging lender or a development lender or a commercial mortgage. So at that point, we've got an AIP, we've sort of looked at the deal, structured it, worked out how it could all work. At that point, you then put the offer in. So at that point, you've then got your proof of funds and everything else to put the offer in. Now, that doesn't secure you the investors, but what that does do is it gives you at least a bit of time with the agent over here, whereby you've given them the proof of funds, they're happy, they're sort of secure knowing that they've got that. And it buys you that little bit of time to then go and deal with the investors. So there's a few different scenarios there, but I thought it would be good just to sit and do sort of 5-10 minute episode just to talk about kind of whether you do need the money first or whether you need the deals first. And I do tend to lean towards that deals first principle, because I think you really do need that. And it fits in with the saying that you do get out of a lot of these courses, which is get the deals and the finance will follow. So I think it's good sort of to have that pipeline of deals. That being said, you've always got to balance it delicately with not upsetting the agents and the sources. So that kind of gives you a few ideas and hopefully has been helpful and just clears up a little bit of the sort of misrepresentation I think that sometimes comes out of these courses. But hopefully you found that helpful. Catch you on the next one.